adaptory. Yeah, you heard that right. I know this sounds quite weird, even ridiculous, but let me tell you why this unlikely place has become my personal sanctuary. When I was little, like many other children at a young age, I made lots of mistakes. Sometimes small ones, sometimes big ones. And my mom, being a strict but loving parent she was, often scolded me for them.
And I really miss the sunny feeling that I experienced in my hometown. And I don't know if it's coincidence or am I just lucky or it's just a normal thing there, but every time I go there, it will have just a beam of sunlight coming through from the window and beaming down on the sea. So it gives me a really comforting feeling like I'm at home again because I really miss the sunlight there.
And also I have fed this cat for about 8 years since I studied in elementary school, maybe 5th grade. And at first he really hate to approach people, but 8 years later he will, I will show you that next picture. He will rub on my face and she will lie on the floor and show me his belly.
We feel pretty stressed out, but when the wind is blown on our place, it actually just blown out our stress also. And the next is we can hear the sound of the wave. And at that time, I don't know why, I think this place is very beautiful, but there's actually no one there. So it's just me and my friend. So we can really enjoy such a peace atmosphere, and it's quite quiet there. So we can share our own story because we haven't met for a long time.
And I often go there when the sun is setting, so you can watch the view of the sky gradually turn from blue to pink and to orange. And I think it's beautiful, and the sound of the waves is also peaceful and it makes me feel relaxed. And also the sea breeze is cool and I like the feeling that it is really fresh.
Because after a long time of study, the air conditioner next to it bringing cool airs and that can refresh my mind. And the steady noise of it can create a gentle white noise. So it can help me to concentrate on my subject. And this also brings me back to a time when I prepared for my college entrance exam. Because back then, I usually stay in my school library and study for a long time.
So there are 3 reasons why I like this place. One unique feature is that this kind of seat provides only for one person. Most of the seats in NCCU library are not as private as this one. They all share tables and spaces together.
Here is a huge baseball, and why is here is baseball? Because last week we went to Kaohsiung to play the UBL national competition, and unfortunately we lost when we were at the top 32. And because to some of my seniors, it's their last year to play for the team. So one of our team manager, she decided to buy a ball and let everybody sign on it.
When you slide open the screen door, you can feel gentle breeze. And you are greeted by the sight of green mountains and the rich fragrance of rosemary. And sometimes, small creatures come to keep me company.
The cafe is also home to 2 cats, and one of them is an orange cat, and the other is a batty cat. By the way, this is me. And the batty cat likes people more, so it will jump onto the table and let people to touch it. But sometimes it will drink my water. And if you tap her butt like this, and she will feel comfortable and just sit there, laying down.
And also the survey highlighted that there are a significant health difference in transgender students and other students, so increasing the depression rate among LGBTQ individuals. And for this bar chart, it is how people interact, that how they think the transgender people will be affected on trans policy. And it divided into 3 groups. So for the first group, all LGBTQ adults.
Another reason why Greenland really matters is about military defense. You can see this is Russia, and this is America. Greenland is the only barrier between these two countries. So during Cold War, when they tried to launch missiles, they didn't usually just fly the missiles through the Atlantic like we see in the map, just horizontally. They usually fly through the North Pole and trying to attack each other. Like what they are saying, you can see that there are a huge growth and demand. And I forgot to put one thing on here is the price change of fentanyl. Before it's like $5 to $6 per pill, and now it's 1.5 to 2. So you can see that the price really drops. So by this, you can know that the demand rises and the supply also rises, but much more than the demand. So the price drops.
They support 15 leading academic institutions, such as Harvard University, MIT, and Oxford. And they have committed $50 million in research funding, and they launched this in March 2025.
The U.S. retreat from leadership creates some chance for Russia. They gain leverage to pursue goals in Eastern Europe. They have more influence in Europe. So they will gain the leadership. The Euro stance will be reshaped. Okay, let's talk about Trump's ambiguous stance. We said that Trump's ambiguous stance may cause crisis for Russia.
And if they don't do so within 270 days, then TikTok will be banned in America. And so 270 days later, which is January 18 this year, because ByteDance didn't sell TikTok, so TikTok got banned. But a couple of hours later, Trump delayed the enforcement of the law, so TikTok is right now still available. But a week before TikTok ban,
we often face many people, especially when we're on campus, we face many foreign students. And it's important to know the differences in different countries so that when we communicate with each other, we don't offend other people. And now is a table of contents. We try to focus on the differences of our culture mainly, and also we pick a few topics that we think could be interesting for the audience.
Boys in India usually wear t-shirts or shirts, and girls have more variety of clothing styles. And the other things, Taiwanese have more fashionable outfits than in India.
So basically, this is a kid born in the beach, and he fight monsters when he grow up. So it teaches that you have to be brave. And the second one is in Indonesia, Malin Kunda. This story teaches us we have to be grateful to our parents.
And she said most of the food is similar to Taiwan, but it's more spicy. And like there's an interesting thing is that she said in Korea many people thought that she can't eat spicy food, but in Taiwan she said that food is not spicy at all.
And the next is our survey focused on 4 topics. There are cultural differences, family, friendship, and romantic relationship. And total we have interviewed around 23 interviewees.
Why can't people just say "Hey, you call me"? It sounds so rude. They say that they will call people by their name, not "Hey."
And the last question is like, if there's a given opportunity, would they like to change the way they interact with their parents? And most of them say no, or they are just okay. Some say yes, and some say they have already changed the way they interact with their parents.
It's quite easy to understand because if you are from different cultural background, obvious your thoughts will be different, and sometimes you will have like more differences interaction with opposite genders. Like I want to show you. Okay.
So about our interviewees, we interviewed 22 people in total, consisting 8 males and 14 females. While 9 of them are the NCCU students and 8 of them are the exchange students, 4 of them are students from different universities that are just visiting NCCU, as well as 1 participant that are outside NCCU.
And in Thailand, there is Tom Yum soup, which is a soup with strong, sour, and spicy seasonings. And one of the interviewees mentioned that there is a debate between northern and southern Thailand because in northern Thailand, the Tom Yum soup is mostly water-based, and in southern ones, they will add coconut milk, so it will be more creamy and thick. So they are always arguing for which is the real Tom Yum soup.
So for the chart, I analyzed according to the 22 responses. It's clearly that no matter what nationality the respondent is, people consider politics, religions, salaries, and marital status a sensitive topics that should avoid to be discussed in the conversation. And for example, one of our interviewees, Daryl from Malaysia, and he said that in Malaysia, criticizing a government is considered illegal, and they even get you caught by the police. And they are also expected to be loyal to their monarch.
As for local culture, he mentioned that people back in Korea use credit card or Kakao Play, and they don't really use cash, so it's really hard to adapt on. And also, she likes to bring Taiwanese whiskey as souvenirs since it's cheaper compared to Korea and is high in quality. As for academic-related topics, she found the classes are way too long. Like lots of participants mentioned this.
Simply introduce our interview question about our things, and then we will present each interviewee because we are mostly emphasize on the individual story, and we will present according to the order of the content.
Away means yeah. So when you agree with someone, you can say away. And salut safa means hi, how are you? And itwa means and you. And she impressed with our metro system. She said it's very clean and very quiet. And for extracurricular activities, she joined the yoga club, and in her home country there are activity called donation in Christmas.
And now I'm going to discuss why he's so influential. The first one is power. Everybody knows he's the President of the United States, and this position gives him a lot of power. Perhaps one of the most powerful positions one can be on this planet, the President of the United States. And second, he's a successful businessman. That means the network he has and the people he knows can make a lot of influence on the business market or a lot of things in the United States.
Following her withdrawal from the Tokyo Olympic, after a 2-year break, she competed in the Paris Olympic at age 27. still recognized as one of the greatest gymnasts of all the time. Her return wasn't just about medals, it symbolized recovery, resilience, and personal growth. Moreover, in a world that valued perfection above all, she redefined strength as knowing our limits and daring to come back even stronger.
In June 2024, the street of Mexico erupted in celebration. For the first time in its history, this deeply chaotic country had elected not just a woman, but a Jewish woman as a president. But when a crowd that roared with hope, the true task is about to begin. So, who is Columbia Sheinbaum? She's not the typical president we know. She is a climate scientist, also a former mayor of Mexico City, a key figure in the left-wing Morena party.
And I think the title of the most influential figure in the European politics should go to Emmanuel Macron. So let's briefly explain Emmanuel Macron's background and the ways he is influential in. So he is the current president of France since 2017, and Time Magazine's pick of the 100 most influential people in 2018 and 19.
Here is a direct comparison between AMD's MI300X and NVIDIA's H100. We can see that MI300X outperformed H100 in 3 key aspects. As for memory aspects, MI300X provides 192 GB compared to H100's 120 GB, allowing larger model training.
Just about fame. It's more about impact and the ability to bring change to a culture, to change a culture into a new direction. Now, in 2025, Adrian Brody won this distinction, but it's not for his commercial success, but for something much rarer. It's for his power to transform human suffering into art, into acting, into art, so arresting that it actually changes his audiences, his viewers' internal landscape and internal architecture.
But today I want to share more than just you know. In the next 10 minutes, I will take you through her life story and the reasons why she was selected as one of the Time's 100 influential people and the impact that she has had on the world. So we can learn something meaningful from her journey.
So this is the quick facts about Mark Zuckerberg. So he's CEO and founder of Meta, and he's born in May 14, 1984 in New York, USA. So he founded Facebook in 2004 at Harvard University. So he made Facebook become the biggest social platform. So today he leads Meta.
And before we get started, I would like to ask a question, because most of us are at the age of 19, 20, or 21, right? So can you imagine being this young to create one of the most popular and one of the most influential platforms in the future? I don't know what's your answer, but mine is I can't imagine. Because right now I'm still struggling for those assignments or deadlines. I think I have no time, no energy, and even no the ability to create such a powerful thing.
As we can see in the, maybe his exhibition, lots of his work are in this style, with soft colors and minimal backgrounds and not that hard and clear lines, a little bit blurry, a little bit misty, but still really soft and kind of having a contradiction to innocent figures and a kind of mysterious eyesight.
So let's move on to our main discussion, starting with the podcast itself. On average, the Joe Rogan Experience pulls in 11 million listeners per episode. This is more than any single news program in the US. And Joe Rogan signed a contract with Spotify in 2024, which is worth up to $250 million US. And this is the amount of money that is typically reserved for an entire media studio, not an individual creator.
And let's consider those girls in sub-Saharan Africa who lack access to education. So at the age 12, they are expected to leave school, to be stay at home to help or prepare for marriage. And before turning 18, nearly 1/3 of young women in Southern and Eastern Africa are married. Approximately 73% will have their first girls before 20. So before 20 in those gray area, they have already gone through so much. Can you imagine that at our age?
She stood her ground in a serious courtroom filled with powerful men, proving that female character can be just as sharp, smart, and morally strong. And in G.I. Jane, she even shaved her head to play a Navy SEAL, which is totally a bold move that challenged how people see women at that time. It showed that women can be complex, can be powerful, and can be fearless on the street.
And after getting the video media editor, he added those family clips into a family film for his family members. And after seeing that, their family members all cried. Not only because that the film is very good, but also they saw that they are an American family like others, not only an Asian family.
Okay, after realizing the background of Bobby Brown, now I'm going to talk about why she is influential. And this is my thesis. I'm going to talk about how she redefined the beauty standards and how she built a beauty empire and how she promoted confidence and realness.
Okay, born in London, 1962, Carl Summer grew in a working-class family, and his name here is inspired from the Labour Party founder, Keir Hardie. And he became an activist since he was a teenager, joining the Labour Party Young Socialist. And later, he graduated from the University of Leeds, and soon became the editorial board of socialist alternative magazines. And this experience laid the foundation of its career, built on justice and activism and fairness.
And I think it's a kind of inequality. I think this case is a kind of inequality. And let's directly compare the highest salary of these two teams. Castle Mitchell is the highest team, is the highest salary in WNBA. It's about 250K in 2024. And this one, Stephen Curry, the most well-known shooter in NBA, and his salary is about 55 million in 2024, and he's about 224 times more than Castle Mitchell. And the most interesting is that his salary is much more than the whole team of New York Liberty.
So here's my outline. So first, I will introduce his basic information and his achievements. And next, I will talk about his experience and attitudes during different phases of his career. And lastly, there will be a conclusion and my reflection about why he deserves the title of most influential person. And also, feel free to ask any questions at the end of my presentation.
So in the previous slide, we saw Serena's remarkable achievements, her strong and resilient personality, and her inspiring life journey. I think we can all agree that she deserves to be called as a titan. And what her story has taught me is more than athleticism. It's about wisdom, versatility, and the courage to break the boundaries.
When I heard this story, the first thought that came to my mind is that the personal musician was so crazy. However, the story also indicates how Yoshiki influenced the world and his fans in his own way. So I think he deserves the title of one of the most influential people of 2025 in the category of icons. In the following minutes, I'll introduce his background, career, and his influence to prove why he deserves the title.
By speaking out of her struggles, Simone Biles brought global attention in issues of mental health concerns. And since then, she worked with organizations, speaking events, and encouraged young people to take care of their mental well-being.
She is only 4 feet and 8 inches tall, or you can see it as 142 centimeters, which made people used to doubt her ability because of her height, and maybe you guys too. But for your information, in gymnastics, being shorter is actually an advantage because it helps with your speed, your controlling the air, and also your flipping. So there's one quote that really stick on my mind, which is this one: "I'm more than my accomplishment," because this really shows her mindset and also shows how she carries herself in her daily life.
Okay, good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Should we get started?
Yes.
So, I've called this meeting in order to discuss a few things, and I will mention that in the agenda section. Now, first, we're pleased to welcome Nova and Maya and our own top 10s. Now, I'm afraid Stacy from Maya, right? Maya is unable to attend because she has some family business in California. Okay. There are 3 items on the agenda. First, we'll talk about the official language, and second, we'll talk about employee compensation, and the third is AOP. Shall we take the points in this order? Okay. Now, we'll have to keep each item to about 5 to 7 minutes, and this meeting is due to finish in about 15 minutes. Now, with this meeting, we expect everyone to speak up, speak loud, and state their opinions. So the first item on the agenda is the official language.
Based on the problems mentioned, the reason why we support English as the first language is because English is obviously the most used language in the world right now. So with that being said, we'll offer free programs for the employees in Nova and even Maya for the employees that maybe not familiar with English.
Good morning, everyone. Shall I get started? Okay, so I've called this meeting in order to facilitate cooperation within our group, especially on 2 aspects, in English proficiency and the pay. So let me introduce myself first. I'm the meeting chair for today, and I'm the CEO of the top 10 European subsidiaries. We're pleased to welcome representatives from 3 different subsidiaries from our company. First are
So maybe I think our email should have bilingual in each 2 language, that we can make sure that your idea are correct, not just we use the translator and then maybe we'll make some mistake. So I think maybe a bilingual program will help us to it will be less hard to learn English, and also let us can communicate more easily. So do you agree with this?
I agree up to a certain point that we should use a continuous bilingual program for our future goods. However, I would say we should keep using Italian inside our emails from employees in Nova. Before we reach the level, we can fluently use English.
Yes, I agree with that, and I'm really grateful for that. Yes.
Thank
you. Okay.
Almost 57. And imagine that, is it easy to teach your grandma or grandpa English? That is unreal. So it is impossible for those of my employees to learn English and get good at it.
I know learning English might take time, but I think, in my opinion, it's worth it because once we have the ability to communicate in English, to reach each other would be easier.